Well, good evening. It is Sunday, March 15th, and it's actually freezing rain outside like I said it would be in my last video. But I'm going to head out to the barn, and we are testing milk tonight. So we're going to be doing milk testing. I'd like to show you the whole process of that and how that works. Another milking video, so that's good. And yeah, we're going to head up. Freezing rain right now, so I can catch some ice. You can see on George's car, it's all icy. So Lydia and Paul are over. My dad is in the house right now watching the baby. But yeah, we're gonna get a video of that and I hope you enjoy. So we have Lydia out here milking for me actually. And my mom's pretty, well, these are the cows I would usually be doing, but you're milking to allow me to film. So Lydia's out here milking. And my mom is helping her out with that. My mom already did her side of the barn. But Lydia, what's going on here? We got the sample bottles, the testers on the milkers.
Pardon me. The testers take a percentage of the cow's milk, tell us how many pounds they're milking. We put it in sample bottles with a
number for the cow, a corresponding number to each cow.
And then we send it in to Ag Source, and they will test it and tell us what the MUN, cell count, butter, fat, protein, all that is. They record it for us, so we have that on record for all the cows to help us better manage the herd.
And we don't do it so much for the pounds of milk. We do it more so for the somatic cell, the components, so that we know that on the individual cows.
Yep.
It's not so much for the poundage aspect.
But we are writing.
It's all those samples that they run.
Yep.
Lydia, put that one on.
So we are putting each sample from these little jars on the testers, filling up these sample bottles. So this one is number 25. So the next number. Yep, they have a preservative in them as well to keep the milk fresh. So that's why the milk looks orange once it's in these test bottles. So let me pull an empty one. It's got that preservative in the bottom to keep it that way. So if that's 25, the next sample, let's say Cheyenne was the next one. So we'd write in the sample 25 there and then write in the pounds there. Now these are for second and third milking. If you did more milkings, but we're just doing one on this testing cycle. So that's where we write it in, fill the bottles, and then this is what the tester looks like on the cow. Hello, Margaret and me. Hello. But here's what these testers look like. Made in New Zealand by True Test. So if there's anybody from New Zealand, there you go. But these are serviced by Ag Source, or calibrated by Ag Source, because that's where we send the samples to. But this is the tester, where this is the main milk hose that would usually go straight into the pipeline here. We take the crook off and put it up here and actually route it differently to here. So the milk goes into the tester, straight up this tube here, and then it samples it out. A little bit goes through this down into here to test the milk. To get us a sample and to test the weight. So Margaret here is up to about 8 or 9 pounds. There's some foam on top, bubbles get up top. And then the rest of it goes down into here. And then up into the pipeline, where it then heads to the milk house. And then any milk left in the test jar that doesn't go into the sample, we just dump down into this stainless steel bucket, and then that gets put through a filter into the tank when we're all done with milking.
All I wanted to say was thank you to Paul for letting the cows, because Dad hurt his back this morning. Giving Dad a little bit of a rest while he's in holding the beef.
Yep. So this is my brother-in-law, Paul. Of course, my only sister is Lydia, so obviously her husband, whom she is very proud of. And Paul doesn't exactly want to be on camera right now, but I asked him. I told him he didn't have to say anything, so he's just doing his work. Paul's a good guy. Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Elizabeth. Are you camera shy too? Are you trying to figure out what it is? Bessie is the cow up to milk her right now. She just had it put on her, so milk is of course coming down into this little jar here. Then up there, of course, you notice two hoses. This is a vacuum hose from the pulsator to run the vacuum and pulsation in these inflations. So these two hoses run that, and then this is the main milk hose. Carries it up to the bottom of the tester, and you can see she's already milked 9 pounds of milk since it was put on there just a minute ago.
The old lady's gotta look over her glass.
So mom's
Biggest
gonna.
problem besides having to move the meters with the milkers is trying to remember the cows' names. Uh-oh. That was just a power issue due to weather or somebody crashing into a tree or a pole or...
I'm glad I got that on camera, honestly.
Oh yeah.
So the
This
power
stuff
just
happens.
cut out momentarily, and now we're getting the milker back. But of course, these milkers just dropped off the cows here. So those are gonna need to go back on. So I'm gonna need to set down the camera and get these cows milkers back on. Well, that was exciting, huh, Sunday? Yeah. Not every day the lights cut out. Yeah. I'm glad it came back right away though. So Lydia just clipped this tester on. It has that little clamp that clips right onto this, I believe, 3-inch PVC pipe or 4-inch, but it can adjust to many pipe sizes. Then it clamps on with this little handle and keeps it steady on the pipe while it milks out the cow. Which in this case is Annie, down at the end of the barn. Hi Annie! How you doing? I have noticed that these heifers could probably use some bedding. And they have some of the freezing rain actually coming in the window now. And they also are all out of water, so I'm gonna take care of those two things. Hi, Greta. These kids have a nice thick layer of bedding laid down here in the pen. We have 4 of them in here, which seems a little crammed, which it won't stay this way just for a couple of days while the snowstorm passes by. Then we'll probably move at least 1 or 2 out of here, but we have some in the barn yet that could still be moved in here. And then I also picked up their hay and put it where they could reach it. But these guys are always excited to have new bedding.
extra at the end, then I gotta get olive ready. Not olive, tulip. Lydia, can you, after you hang that, dip that pepper and Bella?
Something else worth mentioning is we test cows once a month to keep pretty up-to-date and active data on all, of course, the components in somatic cell. Milk pounds aren't as big of an issue, but if we see a cow that has poor components and poor somatic cell count and then they don't milk very much, those are good things to consider, especially if they are not pregnant or having trouble getting pregnant, or maybe have other existing issues. Well, thank you very much, Lydia, for helping while I've been filming to allow me to film. To allow me to film, you send me the bill. So thank you very much for doing that. And Mom, thank you for covering some of my work so I could film. And now I need to record this jar for mistletoe. So I'm looking, it looks about 19 pounds, and sample 38 is the next one. So we're going to find mistletoe. And there is mistletoe. So she is sample 38, so I write in the sample number 38. She made 19 pounds. Put that back. And now I'm going to fill this sample jar with this milk and then pour the rest of it into this bucket here. You can really see the ice building up out here on this walk, and now down there on the rocks. Really any lower area where the little ice rocks can bounce into and lay, or areas where I suppose it's not as warm or wet, but it's really starting to build up everywhere at this point. There might be a little bit of snow mixed in there as well. Just a pretty not friendly winter mix. And then tonight it gets pretty cold, low 20s, and then snows for, I don't know, from about 10 p.m. to into the day on Monday. I'm not sure how far into the day. Well, they're finishing up milking at this point. Just a few more cows left going on. So I think I'm gonna cut the video off right about there. I hope you enjoyed watching just a pretty short explanation on the testing processes on our farm. And yeah, that'll be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.